Hi, this is Jake Rode, and this is part 2 of pocketing in the prismatic machining workbench in CATIA 3DExperience. Here we can see a different part, same style, just a kind of square part with a pocket in it. This time, as we can see, I've added radiuses to the pocket, and I just kind of made it a funky shape, just to kind of see what that might turn out and look like. A couple things we want to notice on this before we start going through the whole process of making our tooling and everything is that these radiuses right here, the smallest radiuses, are 250 thou, so 1/4 of an inch. We want to keep that in mind when we're making our tool, because if we made a tool that was too big, it actually wouldn't be able to make these radiuses properly. So obviously, since it's a 1/4 inch radius, if we have a 1/2 inch tool, it'll make those radiuses properly. But if we had something, like a 3/4 inch tool, it wouldn't be able to just naturally and easily curve around and make those look right, just because it's got such a bigger radius already. But then obviously if you have something of a smaller radius, it'll be able to make it just as easy. I also made it deeper, so we'd also have to make sure that we make our tool height the proper height. So now we have, what is it, an inch? 1.5 inches. Yep. So we got 2 inch height and 1/2 inch height. Now we can also see the sketch and everything. So we got our safety plane, just as usual, and we'll jump into prismatic machining. So here we will make our machine. Press OK. Make our rough stock. Open this up. Yep. And select it. And we're going to do just the same thing as last time, where just for this process we're going to keep the stock to fit the part size itself. Edit our part operation. So we have our design part right here. Let's hide that rough stock. We have our rough stock and our safety plane. And then aluminum profile contouring. This time we'll just set it on roughing, because why not? Resource creation. Make our end mill. So obviously here's where we're going to want to make some changes. So I want to make sure that we have a long enough end mill. Make sure that it's small enough. So obviously, press our button. So 0.5. It's going to be a good size. And this time we'll see what it looks like with no radius. Maybe we'll see if it cleaned up that center part, that kind of little center peak that we had previously. And then keep this at 2, 2. All looks good. Close out of that. Not doing any feature recognition. Then down in prismatic machining, we're going to open up pocketing again. Then we'll select our tool. Don't need to keep searching. And then we can see, obviously previously we had just a square, much less complex shape, but we select that bottom and it'll automatically, even when we have more complex shapes like all these curves, it'll just select that contour for us. We're not going to have to worry about going in and messing with it. Obviously if you did want to go in and actually automatically or manually select those, you could remove this mandatory contour right here and go in and select each of those corners if you've ever maybe missed one, or you have some things that auto-selected that you wanted to remove. Don't need to put in any of our optional stuff. We will put in that obviously this is a hard bottom, it's not a soft bottom, and it's going to be a closed pocket, not an open pocket. And then we have the tool that we made. We have our strategy. We're not going to mess with the strategy. Tool axis, and then we'll put in our macros, same as usual. And we've got all those selected, got our feeds and speeds. Everything's looking good. We should be able to simulate it. And then obviously we can see, just like last time, let's get this information out of the way. This a little bit smaller maybe. And we can see here, it's coming down. We can see it's looking a little bit different because obviously last time it was just going in squares, but this time because of those curves, it's going around following those curves and everything. And then we can see it move over and be done. So let's turn the speed down a little bit as we watch it run. Watch it come over and go through all of those curves and everything. We can also see, obviously, we made it tall enough, which is always important. And then we can check our material deposition to make sure that it's actually cutting everything properly. So you can see it dives in and then goes around, and it looks like it got those radiuses just as we wanted them. That looks right there. And then obviously we can see, compared to the previous part where we had those curves down here on those bottom walls because there was a radius on the tool, here we can see it's just flat. And we can also see, and whether it's from this being flat or the new tool path, we don't see any little peaks of material that were not milled out as they should have been. And what I would be interested to see, so if we exit out of this simulation, and if we can maybe make a new tool, so we close out of this, let's close out of this, go to tools, let's make a new end mill, so resource creation, end mill, let's make a new end mill, but let's make it oversized, so let's make this 750, and also make this big enough and everything, no radius. So now that it's this, bigger end mill, make this T1, and we go into our programming and put in a pocketing and bottom layer, a closed pocket. Got our new bigger, oh wait, don't have any bigger one. We're gonna have to select over here, tool 1, don't need to keep searching. And there we go, now we can see that this is the new one we made. Got our geometry and everything selected. Gonna be the same. Put in our macros again. And then obviously it's doing speed and feeds and everything else automatically for you. So we can press simulate, and we're already in material deposition. You can watch, obviously it clears that material out a lot quicker, but it looks like these corners might be too big. So if we deselect that material deposition, so we can see there, small little corner, our little 250 corner, and if we reselect material deposition and let it run, that corner looks a lot bigger because our tool's radius is not small enough to cut that small corner out. That's always something important to think about, whether you're working with only a couple tools. You gotta remember that when you're designing your part, that maybe if you only had 3/4 of an inch end mill, that you have to factor that in so that maybe you don't have to go and wait for an order of new end mills and everything to come in. And you can see, just like last time, we have those 90-degree angles, and we don't have anything down in the bottom to worry about. And that is, once again, how you do pocketing in the prismatic machining workbench in CATIA 3DExperience. I hope you maybe learned something and enjoyed watching. Thank you. Have a great day.